Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the show. Today we're going to talk to a community college president, I think, who took over a campus the night before the pandemic hit, right?
Yep.
Grew enrollment by 60 something percent. We got to check that actually to see if it's true. Whenever everybody else is just hemorrhaging students. Got his school tippy top of the Aspen Prize, top 200, earned Carnegie's top 5% designation. The list could go on, but I'm going to allow him to kind of shine the light a little bit more. I'm going to brag on him. But Dr. Ron Slinger, president of Miles City College, thanks for taking some time to join us today on the show.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm so darn excited and proud to be here at Miles Community College. I really think we're doing some fun, exciting things. I think we're really serving our community well.
I
Um,
look at you from the outside, and I think you're either the luckiest college president in America. You get this Midas touch, right? Or you figured out something the rest of higher education still is really just missing right now.
I think it's both. I mean, I have a board of trustees that's phenomenal. So, and I inherited that. I literally have not, I'm in just finishing my 6th year. I have not changed one of my executive team that I inherited. That's just luck. I mean, that just doesn't happen. We're just now changing out our vice president of academic affairs because she's retiring. But having that type of consistency and leadership and
Yeah.
that vision from our board has been, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do the things we're doing. So,
Well, you think about just how unstable things are out there in K-12 and higher ed. I spent time in both places, so you inherited stability
mhm.
and you stabilized anything that might have been just a little bit, just needing to tighten the lug nuts on any of that. You said none of them have changed. My guess is all of them have changed. I'm just going to push back on that to say your cabinet, I bet, are not the same unified group as they were 6 years ago. There's been some growth and development and new vision and new beliefs and new potential, all of that. So I'm going to argue against that comment.
Yeah, I will tell you the one thing that's changed is that we start meetings on time. I'm that guy, right?
You are that guy.
If you're, yeah, if that meeting's scheduled for 9, I start at 9. If you're not in there, I'm starting, and you got to catch up. So, yeah, no, they're great. I feel very fortunate, but I also feel fortunate that they're coming along with a shared vision
Yeah.
that we developed for, and it really is all about access and providing meaningful opportunities for people to better themselves in Eastern Montana, which is
Let's, we got to break that down because the numbers have to speak for itself. I believe in cultures that drive results, and you've got some results that you're popping out there.
yeah.
Um, numbers that would, I think, make every college president in America either jealous or suspicious,
Yeah.
right? 62% enrollment growth over 5 years, while the rest of higher education is just in this death spiral. Unfortunately, it's sobering that I meet most that are in deficit mode. Enrollment down because of that. Budgets are slashed and campuses are closing. But you're posting record numbers. What's your secret?
Yeah, well, we leaned in, right? Well, it's if nothing else, I'm not much to look at, but I'll tell you what, I'm all about engagement. My background was from the institutional advancement avenue coming into this role. It was all external focus. Well, part of it's leaning into our partners. So we created a opportunity realized program, and we called it that on purpose. Okay, it's opportunity for everyone. It's opportunity for our college. It's opportunity for the students that we're engaging, and it's opportunity for all of Eastern Montana. So what that class was really trying to change the college mindset of just exposing students to college. Okay, it's a one credit class is how we started it.
Just
Career,
for clarity, opportunities realized is a program or a class.
yeah,
Okay.
opportunity realized is the overarching umbrella program of all of the initiatives that we're doing underneath it. The first one started with the class College Studies 111. It's just a one credit career class. Okay. Yeah, it has your resume, interview skills, cover letter, but it also has all those soft skills that the business community is talking about, right? Emotional intelligence, conflict management, interpersonal communication. So it teaches that. It's one credit. We piloted it in spring of 22 with just 2 local school districts. Now, remember, we're Eastern Montana. We are rural frontier. Okay. Both school districts agreed to enroll their entire senior classes. One was 13 students, the other one was
Oh
15.
my gosh.
Okay? So this is rural. All right. They enrolled Phenomenal feedback from them. Okay. In fact, the poster child kid was from one of those. That kid hated school and was mad as a hornet that his school now said he had to do this for graduation. Okay. So every week in his class, you obviously have a discussion board post. His first post basically said, "This class sucks." His second post was, "School's for fools. I don't need this." And so, and quite frankly, he's a large ranching family. He already has his career, right? He's
He
not,
didn't need this.
he
He
doesn't,
didn't.
right? He's not, but here's the fourth week, okay? You know what he wrote, Joe? He wrote, "Was talking to dad last night. We think maybe I should take the CDL program at Miles next year because that way I could drive our cattle across state line and save our family ranch a ton of money." That's an epiphany moment. This kid never wanted to take one class. Now he's talking about a whole academic program. And that's just because he was exposed, right? And was able to have this conversation. So that was very successful. I'm happy to tell you right now, we've grown from those 2 pilot schools. We now have 35 school districts we're partnered with. Okay. And those 2 school districts still enroll their entire senior class. So now think about that. In rural America, and actually in all America, 50% of students don't go, high school graduates don't go to college. Okay.
50%.
Now think about those 2 school districts. Every kid's going to college. Every kid's taking at least one college class as a college student, as a transcripted student, okay, with us. Now, what we're seeing is almost all of these students are taking a second class. Okay. They don't have to, but they're taking a second class. And that usually it's a personal finance class or interpersonal communications or whatever. That's fantastic. It's just expanding their world. You know, I am so passionate about that work that we're doing. And then what's happened under that opportunity realized umbrella, you know, I always tell people I'm not recruiting students, I'm recruiting school districts. Okay. Because we're trying to partner together. So what's happened is numerous of those districts, those really small districts that can't hire a chemistry teacher, can't hire because they just can't attract it. They don't have enough bandwidth to get them. We're now serving them in those classes. Okay. So the sciences, the math, the business, the ag, we're their electives now in some of those school districts. Huge win for them. They don't have to hire an instructor. Huge win for us. It's enrollment. And even bigger win for the students because they're picking up classes. Okay. And they're building an academic transcript to transform their things. So I'm passionate about it. I think it's just how you engage, how you partner. And I mean, I have one school district, Joe, that literally last year did not have a senior. They have 3 this year and they think they're like busting at the seams. That's how small some of these rural frontier schools are. So
But that's not where you came from. I mean, you
no,
came from one of the larger systems
yeah, I came from the
in
Colorado Community
academic.
College system in Denver.
Right, right. So you understand large
Yeah.
systems, but I'm not going to argue that you didn't have the passion and the zeal that you have today. But there's something pretty special about what you're generating for the local community right now that needs this more than anything.
Well, I think the exciting thing is we're expanding. I mean, if you think about it, if you live in one of these towns, I mean, some of these towns are 150 people. Okay. So if you live there, your worldview is like this small, right? We're trying to expand it. That doesn't mean in our society today, it doesn't mean you have to leave that community. There are so many jobs they can do online, they can do distance, where they actually can still work at their family ranch and also do a technology job and do some transcripting or do something in the home at night or on the weekends, or when the weather is just so crappy they can't be out working with the cattle. That just enhances the whole family. It enhances them, and so I don't think there has to be that fear that exists about people leaving, right, to small town areas. So I think what we're doing is trying to explain to them, no, just enhance yourself.
Right.
And it's resonating. I mean, we're getting a lot of traction. I mean, our numbers are just going through the roof, and we're still growing. I mean, as you said, our head count has grown 62% since 2021. In 2021, we served 943 students total, the entire year, 3 semesters. Okay. This year, we finished last year at 1,524. Okay. So that's 62%. I could tell you right now, we had record enrollment this summer and We have record enrollment this fall on top of the record enrollment previously. We're serving over 1,000 students just this fall alone, with this whole new approach. Okay. And it really, and what's interesting is during the same time, Joe, our full time, first time numbers are flat. We
Okay.
haven't gone up, we haven't gone down. These are all non-degree seeking students. These are all, so we have a ton of students that take one class with us, even if they're with another institution within the state of Montana. So that has been really great for us because we do put a lot of stuff online and give opportunities. And then dual enrollment, as we all know, dual enrollment's grown tremendously. But
Right, right, right.
we're starting to see these opportunity realized kids because now we're in it, right? We're in it 3 years, and we're starting to see them matriculate. And that has been so exciting to see these kids show up on campus and they want to meet their teacher who they had, I mean, it's pretty cool.
I'm kind of dumbfounded here because we've had a conversation about your system, and I've kind of paged through to see what that success system looks like, and it is just getting high school students to start with the one class. I
That's
mean,
right.
it's the one thing that you do that has changed everything for you. And I know you've been very generous with this idea and sharing it openly and broadly with your colleagues across the nation. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Why hasn't it caught fire across the entire nation?
I
What's
don't,
specific to Montana that is like
yeah, I think,
got the secret sauce for making it happen?
well, I will throw a bone to our legislature. Okay. They did fund the community colleges with the incentive funding for career tech ed. Okay. And they wanted to get more students access and get more career tech ed focus because they know not everyone wants to go get a 4 year degree. So a part of it is a funding model. We do get funded for the work that we're doing in this area. Some places don't, right? And I think there's still opportunity to do this, but you just have to work a little harder because you got to find either private funding, which, by the way, I mean, I had one donor literally when we first started this program, we weren't getting that funding. I had one donor that dropped 100 grand because they loved what we're doing. 100 grand just out of manna from the sky. Okay. And then funded this class because it's only a one credit class. So it's not that expensive. Right. Um, I think people are scared. I think anyone that went right back to the pre-COVID way of recruiting and operating, you're going to die. You're
Yeah,
going to be part of that group that we know is merging and closing, right?
all the trails changed.
Yes,
Everything
absolutely.
changed.
You
Yes.
have to engage. You have to figure out a new model, and this is our model. I'm sure at some point there'll have to be a pivot point, but I tell you right now, for me, it's all about access, access, access. And from the business model of our college, it's about growing that funnel, right? I mean, once we have them take that one credit class, recruit them. And I'll be honest, Joe, one of the things we're pretty stickler on is we teach the class.
Yep.
It's not us having teacher and ex school teach it. No, we teach it because we want to build that relationship with the student. We want them to have a college experience. We want them to engage with us. And that has been incredibly helpful. And I
Two
just think
things.
you have to
Yeah.
do it.
Two things. Access, like you said, but also the insight because you've hired some extraordinary people because part of how all of the rules have changed is we all went into education because we wanted to impart information to students to help change their lives.
Yeah.
We can no longer do that in a competitive fashion. I am no longer the smartest person in any room, right? So offering access and insight to the information that's already out there, and you found the right people that can give insight to the information. I think that's the one-two punch today.
Yeah.
Where people are dying, where systems are dying, is when you have the learn ed still in the classroom.
I agree. I mean, look, we're an information society. I mean, at your fingertips, just with this phone, is more powerful than the computer that I used in grad school, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable. So they have the information. It's trying to get them to be critical thinkers and trying to engage them to make
That's
them understand that there still is that importance. I think one of the things I was thrilled about, like you said, you mentioned the Aspen Top 200. Absolutely so rewarding, right? To have some outside group like them that's so prestigious recognize that, yeah, we're doing this good work. But last spring, the Carnegie classifications, okay? I mean, we're in the top five of in access and earnings. Well, that isn't that what we're about? I mean, at the end of the day, I had a colleague say one day, we give away a lot of letters in higher ed, right? You give AAs, BAs, PhDs, all that. The letters you want to give is a job, right?
amen, brother.
Right? And so high access and high earnings of our graduates, I'm not sure there's much more to it than that, right? Other
Yeah, I
than
was just going to argue a little bit because I've been on campuses that are underperforming that are highly decorated. You know what I mean? They've got these banners that are just floating from every flagpole and light pole, and but you really start peeling things back, and there's just not a whole lot really happening. You've got the awards, you've got the growth, you've got the community love, but are the students actually succeeding? That is the question,
that's right.
because enrollment is a vanity metric.
It is absolutely. So when we start looking at that, our transfer rates, and we start looking at also earnings, and that Carnegie classification, it's earnings 8 years out, and so it's 8 years after graduation compared to your peers in your region. Okay, so and I know some of my colleagues are angry right now, and they're asking for the Carnegie classifications to be redone because that's not fair, and maybe it's not, right? If you're in a high tech area, I mean, I could see how maybe they're not going to earn what but it's earnings of peers of their own age group, okay, at that same time who didn't go through college and get the degree. Well, we're crushing that. We're crushing that metric. And I look back and I'm like, in the conversations that are going on in our nation right now, return on investment, and is education valuable or not? I can say it is. I can say we are transforming his life. They're getting livable wage jobs, and they're outpacing their peers. I'm not sure, if I'm a local taxpayer paying property taxes, that's a pretty good argument. I mean, I'm pretty
Absolutely.
happy with that.
Yeah,
So,
you're showing up with the advantage, and I think that needs to be broadcast, because as dozens of campuses are closing. I think we need to get the world's attention to how do we stay in demand, but also highly profitable. And we've got some real common sense institutions. I mean, let's just talk programs. I mean, you're not trying to be the Harvard.
no,
You're not even trying to be Montana State,
no,
right? You're building a college that serves your region's actual needs.
that's right, Joe. I tell people all the time, listen, we can't win on the number of breadth of programs. Okay, we only have 42 programs. Okay, you talk about Montana
But
State,
they're enough,
they got like 250, right? I mean, or
right?
more probably. I can't win on size of budget or on resources. I can't win on facilities. You know what I can win on? Access, access, access all day long, right? Now, that takes work, right? I mean, I think one of the biggest problems, you mentioned why people aren't following this model of success that we're having is people aren't good at leaving their little silo of the education. I used to joke about it in institutional advancement. I'm like, hey, I'm the only donor in my office and I already donate. I need to go outside and find some. Well, it's same with students, like, oh, we already have these students. We need to go out and get more, right? And I don't think our peers are real good at that. I don't think they're comfortable with that. And because I can't tell you how many times I've been in meetings where an industry partner brings something up, and the educational partner kind of poo-poos it. Well, that it's like, wait a second, what this is all about. You got to listen to them, and you got to provide what they're asking for. And so,
I go back to the students that you're trying to reach, and the reason why they're not attending or not enrolling is because they don't know how. It would be not comfortable. Same thing for us as adults. We need to continue to stretch and do that one thing. We take that class. Well, what is that for us? To expand influence and go out one step beyond our comfort zones
yep,
to be able to reach the students that truly need to be. Yeah, I think the comfortable, that discomfort is the boundary line to your success. I mean, if you're just going to stay within the sheep pen there, yeah, you're going to
well,
be falling just like the rest of them. But
that's right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Well, and I'm a first generation college student myself, right?
Same.
And I understand. I mean, hell, I wouldn't even know how to register. I mean, I played football in college. They gave me my
Same.
classes a
If there
semester.
wasn't a college football program, I'm like, what else? Oh, there's an education too. Uh,
That's right. How
what
about
a
that?
bonus.
So so I get it. I get it that these kids come in and I see myself in them all the time. About they don't have a clue. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know what to ask. Whatever. Just take all that mystery out of it.
Yeah.
Engage them, right? And it really isn't that bad. I mean, I have not had one conversation with one school district that didn't get excited by the time we were done talking about the Opportunity Realize program and how we could partner together. Okay. And I always leave those meetings. I'm like, okay, what else do you need help with? What else could we possibly? In fact, here's what happened to our 30, God, our 34th school district. Okay. I'm in there and we get done. And you know what they said? And they said, well, we just lost our FFA advisor, our ag thing. Do you got any online ag classes? Right now, where I'm at, it's ag, right? I mean, and I looked at her, the superintendent. I said, we don't, but I have no idea why we don't, right? That's the dumbest stuff. Why don't the whole drive back to campus, okay, which is 45 minutes, the whole time I kept,
You got it all figured. You're
no,
driving with your knee. We're not going to tell anybody, but you're figuring it out.
the whole time I'm like, how in the hell did I go at that time 5.5 years and not have thought of that, right? But guess what? We launched an online class this fall. It was full, and we're planning on continuing that. And I'm just like, listen to what the customer has to say, right? And then provide them what they want.
I think that's where we all need to just attend university classes in just listening, just that in itself. So 2030, let's just envision. All
Yep.
right, you've been there now in 2030. I
Yeah.
man, maybe 10 years, right?
Mhm.
What does Miles look like? Are you at 2,000 students by
Yeah.
that point? Do you kind of have a metric with that in mind?
Yep. I've told everyone first goal is to double. Okay. So double is 1886, right? And because 943, 1886, and then stretch goals 2000. And we hit 2000, we're going to reevaluate and we're going to set up another metric. I mean, I'm one of those, you got to have something to be shooting for. We're not going to show up in this status quo. That's just not who I am. Get on the bus. We're going this direction, right? And if I find out we're going the wrong direction, I promise you, I'm not so obstinate that I'm going to keep driving that direction. We're going to turn, but
Right.
this is where we're going. Everybody's on board, and so yeah, we'll be 2,000 or more at that point. I'll be honest, Joe. I told you we have 42 active programs. I don't know if we have the right 42. I don't know if we have um, we need to have more than that or less than that. We do not right now have an academic master plan. I want an academic master plan, and I want to know, are we doing an environmental scan of the region properly and understanding what needs to be added? Maybe we absolutely do have the right ones. I just don't know, right?
I love that as well because you said, are we doing an environmental scan? Because it's not about
Yes,
your programs, it's about your partnerships because the partners will establish your programs.
that's it.
So many of the losing organizations turn inward and go, well, let's put an academic
Yep.
and
So,
let's go out to our partners and show them this amazing, and they look at it like that's a piece of dead meat. That's not what our community needs. So yeah,
so
you've
here's the
explained it all right.
Here's the greatest thing. Okay, we've just also revised all of our advisory boards for CTE. Just had one. This was like the epiphany moment. Okay, and everybody present wants to see this happen because I've been saying like, okay, we got to revitalize these. We got to we're not doing them very well. We're doing them much better now. We had our nursing one. Okay, so we had literally like 20 industry partners there. It was amazing turnout. All this stuff. We do all our song and dance and so forth. And then it was like, I'm like, so what are we missing? What are you guys working on? They started talking to us about how they're using AI in transcripting, in diagnosing, and sort of you should have. I looked around, and our faculty are fantastic, but all of our faculty kind of looked at each other, and I could tell we're not doing it at all, right? And it was like this epiphany moment, like, oh my God, like
AI ain't artificial insemination anymore.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
We can
So
cut that out. We might be able to cut that out.
yeah, no, I'm being serious. Yeah, and so and now they're talking about it. They're looking, and I was so proud of them because it wasn't a moment where they were like, fighting back and saying, well, we can't. They all were like, oh, we got to
Hungry.
include this. We got to put some of that in. And that's why you do those things. We're not doing it just to check a box. We're doing it to enhance the program, which enhances the delivery to the student, which makes them better, right, for the end user. So
I'm
it
so excited.
it was a
I'm
good.
going to order a pizza, or we're going to go to our last
Yeah,
real question here. So, as you look at the future, just one thing, you are very generous with your playbook. You got nothing to hide, nothing to prove. You're doing what you do. If you could bottle what's working at Miles City and ship it to 500 other small campuses across America, what's the ingredient, right, that they're
I
missing?
think
What
it's.
would you put in that bottle to go do
I
this?
would put entrepreneurship. I don't think we're good at that in education. I think we sit back and do things the same way because that's the way we've done them. These are processes we inherit. I think the more entrepreneurial you think, okay, the more you're willing to look at things. And then by an entrepreneurship mindset, you literally are now, okay, well, how do I fund that now? Okay. And so if your funding formula doesn't work, that's okay. That make it a priority. Now may go after grants, go after fundraising, I mean, it works. The system works. It's just, yeah, it might not work in your little shell right now. Change your shell.
Yeah.
Change that. And I don't think we're not real good at change management. We're not real good at these things. And um, you know, those are all strengths of mine, and that's I've really been able to push the envelope on those. So I would just encourage people to be much more entrepreneurial and much more transparent. Like
Spot on.
what do we need?
Spot on. Yeah, we build guided pathways for students. I think we need to build those same entrepreneurial pathways for adults as well, to say it's okay. Errors are fine. Failures, that's another thing. But yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to keep you real and honest.
yeah,
Well, not that you weren't honest, but let's keep you real human because you're superhuman.
yeah. It's okay.
Um, do a lightning round.
Yeah,
Lightning round time. Buckle up. Let's have some fun.
okay.
What's a quote that you live by?
Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching?
Ooh,
Got to be positive. I mean, I can't expect anyone else to. It's nothing drives me more crazy than the Eeyore, the person that
you get to
does.
choose it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get to choose that
exactly.
attitude. How about a book? You want every leader to read a book, one book.
So here's the interesting thing. I refresh back to this book. This is from my doctoral program. So, reframing organizations by Bowman and Deal.
Oh
Okay,
my goodness.
I go back to that
All
thing
four of them.
once a year. Exactly, once a year, I go back and I look at it, and I just will randomly pick a chapter, and it's great stuff.
I think that's seared in a lot of our just in the bones of us, and it's
Yeah.
how it comes out. Best advice you ever received?
So this was my first job out of grad school. Dr. Don Schlinger, God bless him, he's passed away now, but he had on the back of his door, what only he could see, when he closed the door, when he came off, there was a sign that said, "Never miss the opportunity to keep your mouth shut."
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. I'm terrible at it, but I tell you what, I think about Don, and I think about that all the time because it's great advice.
One word to describe your leadership style.
Transparent. You're never gonna have to guess where I'm at. You're never gonna guess where we're going. And I mean, literally, Joe, I send a Friday memo, okay, to all of our faculty, staff, and our donors, and our boards and stuff, every week. Last week was my 243rd Friday memo in a row. Okay, never miss one. Even on vacation, I send a Friday memo. The we send out to all of our faculty and staff the exact same board packet that the board of trustees get, all the same documents,
Oh my
everything.
goodness.
And we had a monthly all employee meeting right before the board meeting where I go over the agenda and I ask if there's any questions. I mean, I can't.
What you see is what you get there,
That's
folks.
it. Yeah,
That's
we're not
beautiful.
hiding
If
anything.
you weren't running MCC today, what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, you know what? I would go back to my institutional advancement thing. I would be fundraising for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Every time I see the commercial, I cry. I'm a softie now. I mean, I'm telling you, I would just be doing something that I would be passionate about.
Beautiful, rich. Okay, go back to the 25-year-old Ron. What is that person thinking about what you're doing today?
I think, remember, first generation college. I mean, I think his mind would be blown that I'm in the seat that I'm in, but I also think he'd be very proud.
A leader that you model yourself after today.
So it's one that I hope that I can emulate in some way. And so, and no one's going to know this person. It's Ed Diller. Ed Diller was the senior partner for the largest law firm in Cincinnati, Ohio. He was also chairman of the board of trustees at the first college I worked at. I used to be in awe of him. He would only be on campus twice a year. He literally knew everyone. And I'm not, he would walk up to a janitor and say, "Hey, Joe, good to see you. Hey, how's your daughter doing? I thought, wasn't she working on this?" I mean, his recall, his memory, and all of those people just, they, that he knew them. They felt seen and appreciated. And if I could just have a sliver of that ability, it would be amazing. He was an amazing human being.
How
He
about
is.
a belief? A belief that you held 20 years ago that no, that might be a little bit off.
Yeah, it's way off. Okay. I think 20 years ago, I believed like blindly in the holistic, everyone who's involved in national politics cares about everybody and really cares about things. I don't believe that anymore. I do believe there's individuals, there's some, right? But now I'm so sickened by the power struggle as opposed to doing what's right and doing what's best for the nation. And I
Mm.
don't care what party you're in or out. Just give a crap about everybody,
Yeah.
in a nation. So
All of us need to reverse that from power and control to purpose and connection.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Favorite thing about living in eastern Montana that others just really wouldn't understand?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't get it. When I moved here, people were. I had one buddy call me. He said, because I was leaving from Metro Denver area, and he's like, "Okay, great, Ron, you're moving to a place that tons of hunting and fishing and outdoors and stuff like that. All the things you don't do. So that's a great decision on your." And I don't. I don't do any of it. Right? I don't have a cowboy hat. I don't have cowboy boots. I don't have a cowboy belt. It's not me. That's not. It's not authentic. So, but I tell you what, Montana, they often say it's the largest small town in the world, right? This entire state feels like a smaller town, right? And the fabric. I grew up in a small rural farming community in Ohio, right? So the fabric of a small rural community really resonates with me. So I'm cool with Mayberry. I like it. I like that we're all here in the same little town together.
What makes it beautiful, right? Last question. Will AI, you think it's going to replace community colleges before you retire?
No, no. AI is an amazing tool. I think everyone needs to relax a little bit. Okay, it is not the elixir that's going to change everything. It's not going to replace us. It'll enhance some things that we do. But absolutely not. And I see it every day. I mean, the more interaction, it actually, in some ways, while it's so amazingly powerful, it's actually accentuating some of the worst things that we saw during the COVID time, where it increases isolation. It increases less communication with others. I mean, oh, I'll just research it. Oh, I'll just Google it, or I'll just, that kind of thing. As opposed to all those skills that we're teaching here about interaction. I just, I'm not afraid of it. And it absolutely will not, it is not the end all be all, but it's here and we got to engage with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Ron, everybody joining us today, this has been really fun. My
Wonderful.
hair's blown back. You've got so much in terms of results. You've got so much in terms of just building a pathway, and I think a proven system for those that just would want to lean in and learn more from you. I'm sure they can find you on the web.
Sure.
I'm sure if you're part of the who's who's out there, you know how to get a hold of Ron. But I think the real challenge, it's not that rural America is dying, right? I think largely it's being ignored. Small towns, they don't need saving. They just need strategic leadership
That's right.
on purpose, truly connected. And you've shown us what that looks like today. Any last words, Ron, before we?
No, I'm really grateful for you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to brag about the college and the great work that our board and faculty and staff are doing. And I appreciate it. So thanks so much.
Very good. Well, keep your dukes up. Totally, totally. That's been the show, folks. Yeah, this is one that you're going to want to send off to a friend or two and like it and I don't know, do whatever the kids are doing to these things these days. This is fun. Peace, friends. Take care. Take
Take
care.
care.